morning. Hey, how's it going? So I just have a few minutes before I go into teaching today, so I thought I would kind of go over some oil pastel stuff. I know that oil pastels is a love-hate kind of thing. You know, you hate them, and then you try them, and then you start to love them again, and then you use them again, and you just, to me, it's just a love-hate relationship with oil pastels. I don't know if you feel the same way. But I have a few minutes before my class at HomeLink today, so I just wanted to go over the materials that I bought for my class, thinking that it would be good, but yeah, I've been struggling with these. So I just highly recommend spending a few extra dollars on some nicer pastels, oil pastels. But I did spend, I went and I bought, I know it's backwards, but these Reeves class pack of oil pastels. I teach 2 classes, about 16 kids between the 2. And so I figured this would be big enough to hold all, would be big enough to, supply all 2 classes and still even have some left over. It was about, I think on Amazon, I spent about $47 or $48 on this. I have it linked on my website. You know, if I was teaching elementary school or even like my middle school kids, I would recommend getting that set because it's reasonably priced, and they're better than crayons, and they actually do have oil pigment in them a little bit. But as for my high schoolers and trying to make quality artwork, I'll show you. I assigned my students, we're studying South America, and so I assigned each of my students a country in South America for my high school kids, and I made them do like some research on the country and the art culture there, and just some art history or art information about the country. And so I picked Paraguay for myself so I could give them an example. So I just went on to Wikipedia, looked up Paraguay, and usually if you look up the countries, there's a section for culture. You look under culture, they always talk about their art, their music, their food, and so like Paraguay has a lot of rich diversity from indigenous people and folk art and things like that, to the Spanish and European side that came back in the back days. They're bilingual. They use bright colors. You can find some contemporary style artwork with some of them, and the one artist that I picked was Mabel Ocrondo. I might say it wrong. She lived for only 36 years. She was young when she passed away. She contracted polio when she was 17 years old. So this would have been 1957. She was born in 1940. She passed away 1976. And she was really into surrealism, primitivism, which I need to do some research on primitivism. I don't know. But this is one of her paintings she did. I just Googled it. It's called Tram of the House of Gotti. It's also in another language, Tranvia a la Casa de Gotti. I just thought it was interesting. Lots of little details. When she had polio, she lost her ability to walk, and so so this was her source of income, her source of whatever, but she still did it. That's amazing. That's why I am totally inspired by her. By the way, this is a big Jesus painting I'm working on here, glow in the dark style. It's sold at auction for $160, and I'm so sorry for the shakiness. You're on my shaky drafting table. But I just want to go over these pastels. I'm going to work on them some more. I'm not quite done with this yet. I just took the bust part. I didn't really feel led to paint or do the whole picture. But I have been able to get a little bit of detail into them. But I don't know if you can see any of this, but maybe in here you might be able to see it. But the oil pastels just don't build up on each other very well sometimes. Certain colors don't build up well, like the darker blue here. When you start putting it on, it like scrapes it off as soon as you're putting it on. And oil pastels should kind of if they're creamy enough, if they've got oil and they're soft enough, they're not too hard. So I think these are almost borderline too hard or something like that, or whatever binders they're putting in this. It's as soon as you're laying it down, it's scraping it right back off. And so you get a really light color underneath. You don't get the rich dark color that you want. I know with some of the reds it was working that way, and the greens too. Certain colors, I think like the deeper colors, because the deeper colors are probably pure pigment, and the lighter colors they're adding like some white to it or something like that, and so it gives it more of a base. So I think that's what is happening with the lighter colors, because like if I use the lighter blues and the lighter greens and this like creamy peach color, you can layer on top of each other. You can layer with the white. The black is good. Black is a great color. You know, it's black. It takes over. But like I said, these, I would totally recommend these. I mean, for the high schoolers, I think they're great too, especially since, you know, oil pastels is something that you love or hate. I also used some linseed oil on this project, and I recommended for my kids to use baby oil. So you can use baby oil or linseed oil or I think someone mentioned coconut oil one time. I thought that would probably be a good idea. You want to make sure it's a clear oil. You know, I wouldn't recommend cooking oil. I don't know why I wouldn't do that, but I just wouldn't recommend a cooking oil or like olive oil or something. But yeah, nobody's on right now, and I want to be able to do these maybe like every Tuesday before I go to class. Just go over the materials. Today we're starting into watercolors with my class, so I'm going to start talking to them about watercolors, and some of my students have already done this last year, so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, but you know, the techniques stay the same. The palettes are the same that I tell them to get. I use these, I always recommend my students get for their first watercolor palette a Prang watercolor kit that has 16 colors in it. I need to go wash it real quick, but I just love these because technically these last forever, because one palette will last you a lifetime, because you can actually take out these little trays and buy new ones just by themselves, and they're like $1, a couple dollars just to replace the color, because like I go through yellows and whites the most, so you know, in fact this yellow looks like it needs to be replaced soon, so I'll probably order that online. You could go to Amazon or whatever and do that. But if you have any questions about oil pastels or any recommendations, I also use this paper right here. It's by Bee Paper, Aqua Bee, Bee Company paper. It's heavy weight vellum drawing paper, great for pastels, 100 pounds. You get 40 sheets for this little pad here. And I want to say maybe I spent $15 on this pad at a local shop here called the Yakima Bindery. I like to buy some of my more specialized art supplies from that place. They're a little bit they're still reasonably priced, but they're a little bit more expensive than like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, just because they're local, and I like to support local businesses since I am a small business. So I feel like I should be supporting local small businesses and not using big box stores all the time. Not saying I don't shop at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Michael's, I'm almost not even shopping there. Maybe now a couple times throughout the year I might go to Michael's if they have a really good sale, but I primarily buy all my supplies almost now either Hobby Lobby, online, or at Yakima Bindery. So anyways, nobody's on, so I'm just talking to myself. But every Tuesday, I'm going to start trying to do this for just 10-15 minutes. Just do a little review, show you what projects I'm doing. Like I'm doing, trying to finish up Jesus here. So hopefully he'll be done this week. And then, yeah, so that's all the stuff I got going on. So I hope your day is going well. Sorry for the shakes. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you like these videos, or if you're into this kind of stuff and learning more about art and following along with me, then click that like button below. I'm going to play with these pastels and let you take a peek at how that works. And if you like, and then we'll just do this for a few more minutes and let you see how I play with these things and how they work. So let me see if I can set this up that way. Let me flip it here. Okay, so this is this last little, it's like a tree. It's supposed to look like this, but you know, I can only get so much detail in. So I do use reference photos, things like that. So like this one. Oh, let's see. This little, I need to get a better tripod that that works with my iPhone until I can invest in a better camera. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTubers and I've been studying and oh, there we go. Maybe I'll just hold it for a little bit. But I've been watching them and I know Canons are really good and a lot of people use Canons. I'm just wondering, you know, because I see them on like local channels and stuff. Let's see. It's a little harder not being able to use my other hand to hold the paper. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this again. Yeah, it's just not going to work, I don't think. And it's not going to be fun to watch. Okay. I have this over desk thing that my advisor let me use, and I used it for my last video, but it gets, it overheats really fast. So, the trick with these is layering. So oil pastels, you can pretty much kind of paint on each other. But like you can see right here, as I'm putting it down, like right in here, it's taking it off. And oil pastels shouldn't really do that if they're really creamy and have a good type of oil. See, this one's like, it just drags it up. So what I started doing was, with the linseed oil, I take a Q-tip right here. Here, I'm going to put this down just for a second. So... you know, it would probably be better if I used a thing. But I take a Q-tip right here, and then I just take a pair of scissors, and I just chop off the top here, because they're a little too puffy for me to be able to blend with. So I just want it to be kind of more flat. And then I tap it into my oil, just a little bit. And then you go in here and just kind of tap the oil around, and then I kind of smear everything. But see, these oil pastels shouldn't do this. They shouldn't peel off like this. Like that's what's the difference between good oil pastels and not so good. So it's a challenge, but it's okay, you know, for learning and stuff, but I think if in learning you should probably invest in a nice pastel. But I'm going to try to put this down again. Let's see. Thing is, it's off. There we go. I think this might work if I don't bump it. Get rid of all my stuff. My drafting table is only so big. There we go. Okay. So the other key that I found is you just kind of tap. Tap, tap, tap. Instead of actually scrubbing, you could tap. But of course, if you tap back over, it just seems to not stay behind. So then the white seems to really lay over really well. So I like to add a little white to it. It's still just a mess. It's not like what it's supposed to be at all. But, you know, it should be really creamy and just lay on there. But it doesn't. Like I said, I was just going to do this for a little bit just to give you an idea. Other recommendations I would have are using Rembrandt's. There's another brand I love. I do personally like, and they're cheap, and it's called Pro Art. They just didn't sell like a class pack, a classroom pack, but if they sold a class pack, I'd probably go for it. You know, to get 288 pastels for $50 still is a really good deal, and probably that's what I'm getting for the price I'm getting this. So it's what it is. So me and my husband were discussing this one, and it's just kind of creepy. It's a creepy kind of painting. You know, when I was a kid, when I was in college and high school, I was really into surrealism, and I still am today. I totally am, but I'm also into Jesus pretty good. And I will say, though, they're like Paraguay, and they, you know, that Christianity does play a part in their culture. So, I don't know if I'm going to get this to act right, but I'm going to try. Let's see if we can move it in here for you. And it's getting long. Anyways, but this just reminds me of, like, you know, if you're not following Jesus, I'm not saying you have to, but I would recommend it. You know, that you're going to ride this bus to hell. Kind of what it reminds me of, but I'll probably get dinged for hate on that, but anyways. Sorry for the long, but I just want to let you see how this works and not work. Hit that black. Gotta be careful with black. I need to play with this some more. So I bless you guys. I pray that you have a wonderful, amazing day. If you have questions about how oil pastels work, these wreaths are not doing it justice, but you know, it's what you pay for. And yeah, so have a wonderful day, and I bless you, and I will see you guys next Tuesday around 9 o'clock again. Bye. Make sure you hit subscribe.